And I am coming tonight to tell you that the tomorrow is coming when no child who grows up in the city will ever be able to memorize the Quran. I left Al-Azhar to go study in Pakistan, and that was the best decision I ever made in my whole life. I went to study with a great scholar in Pakistan, Maulana Dr. Muhammad Fazlur Rahman Ansari, rahimahullah. The Pakistani rupee at that time was $1 would give you 1 rupee and 75 paisa. Huh? That was 1964. $1 was 1 rupee 75 paisa. At that time there was poverty in Pakistan already. Great poverty, because the British had been ruling over India for how many years? Yeah. And today, $1 is about 140, 150 rupees. And if Pakistan ever makes the mistake to try to get out of the hole in which they are, as slaves today, just try to get out, the rupee will go to 1,000. And this country will remain rich. Yes, this country is rich. Well, how did this country become rich? Stealing the wealth of the world. If you work, yes, and you earn your livelihood on the basis of your wealth and your intelligence and your scientific know-how and so on, that is halal. That is halal. We don't have any problem with that. But when you have a monetary system, when I use the term monetary system, they don't even know the meaning of the word monetary system. And yet they are Maulanas and Muftis. And they're giving fatwa. Forget the ones who graduated from Oxford. I'm talking about our scholars. They don't even know what's the meaning of the word monetary system. And they've never studied the banking system. Both the monetary system and the banking system have been used to rip us off. Rip us off. I have enough time to talk about Pakistan's predicament now, but our topic is the 10 major signs of the last days. So let's leave now. We've done 2 so far. The sun rising from the west, and we said this is not muhkam, this is mutashabih. We have to interpret it. But the other one, the dukhan, we say, no, this is literal. This is not to be interpreted, literal. Now we go to number 3. Dabbatul ard. A beast of the earth. Dabba. Dabba is a beast, something that walks. So, if I am to try to understand what is Dabbatul ard, where do I go first? Quran. That's right. That's right. You have to go to the Quran. And when we go to the Quran, it's a very complex thing now. Because there are only 2 references in the whole Quran to Dabbatul ard. 2. And one of them says about Dabbatul ard that when Allah causes this Dabbatul ard to emerge, the Quran was not sent down with punctuation. No. And the Arabs didn't need punctuation. No. The Quran that we now have, an Arab normally wouldn't read a Quran like that, with the fatha and the kasra and the dhamma. But this was put in by human beings. And any time a human being is doing something, he can make mistakes. And here is one. In this one, Dabbatul Ard, when it emerges, it says tukallimuhum, that he will speak. Dabbatul Ard will speak to mankind. But if you change that punctuation, you can become taklimuhum. The Dabbatul Ard would wound you, cause damage to you. And obviously when we look at these two, this one is the one that is more harmonious with the subject. So you have a problem now with punctuation of the Quran. So now let's go to the other reference, only two in the Quran. Nabi Sulaiman alayhi salam is the Khalifa. He is the head of state. And this is a Khilafah state in Jerusalem, founded by his father, Nabi Dawood alayhi salam. And it is a ruling state in the world. And he is a prophet and he is a king. And then one day, Allah chose to test him, give him a test. Or rather, to cause him some distress. And here's what Allah says. Surah Sad, I believe. وَلَقَدْ فَتَنَّا سُلَيْمَانَ, and we tested Sulaiman. وَأَلْقَيْنَا عَلَى كُرْسِيهِ جَسَدٍ, and we placed a jasad on his throne. We leave the word jasad for a while. ثُمَّ أَنَابَ, if he is seeing someone sitting on his throne, and if this is literal, and you are the ruling power in the world, you are the king, you'll take that fellow and throw him out of the window. What right do you have to be sitting on my throne? Huh? I am the king. He doesn't do that. So this is not literal. This is a vision. Allah is showing him a vision. ثُمَّ أَنَابَ, and he turns, he recoils from this vision with repentance from Allah. Scared. قَالَ رَبِّ اغْفِرْ لِي وَهَبْ لِي مُلْكًا لَا يَنْبَغِي لِأَحَدٍ مِّن بَعْدِي. If you want to ask something from Allah, you first ask for forgiveness. It's not that he committed some sin, no. It's just the method that if you want to ask for something, first ask for forgiveness. So you make a istighfar. قَالَ رَبِّ اغْفِرْ لِي. He said, oh my Rabb, kindly forgive me. وَهَبْ لِي مُلْكًا لَا يَنْبَغِي لِأَحَدٍ مِّن بَعْدِي, and grant that none can inherit my kingdom. And grant that none can inherit my kingdom. In other words, he has interpreted this vision. He's interpreted this vision that this fellow sitting on my throne is a very evil being and he wants to inherit my kingdom. I don't want that. So I prefer that my kingdom should collapse rather than he should inherit it. Who could that be sitting on the throne? An evil being who wants to inherit Holy Israel and rule the world from Jerusalem as an evil being. Who can that be? Ad-Dajjal, of course. Dajjal. So as soon as he made this dua, Allah accepted the dua. And when he died, Israel collapsed. And from that day to this day, Holy Israel has never been revived. What we have today is an impostor. This was the dua of Sulaiman alayhi salam. that none can inherit my kingdom after me. But there's another meaning to it, that there should never be another kingdom like mine. So even if he were to establish another kingdom, it must not be equivalent to my kingdom. Nabi Muhammad ﷺ once told his companions at the time of Salatul Fajr, he said, last night I had a wrestling match with Shaitan and I overpowered him. And I was going to tie him to the pillars of the masjid. And when you came to the masjid, you would have seen him tied to the pillars of the masjid. But then I remembered the dua of my brother, Sulaiman alayhi salam, and I had to release him. If he had tied him to the pillars of the masjid, then this Islamic state of Medina, this Khilafah state, would then have had a comparable status to that state in Jerusalem. So he released him. When Sulaiman died, however, something else happened. We turn from Surah As-Sad and we go now, I think, to Surah As-Sabah. The jinn who were ordered to work for Sulaiman and who were shayateen and who were in chains did not know that he was dead. This is what Surah As-Sabah says. And so they kept on obeying someone sitting on the throne, holding on to his staff. The commentators of the Quran, many of them say, Sulaiman alayhi salam died while sitting on his throne. And nobody knew he was dead. And we don't know how long, how many years he kept on sitting on the throne, holding on to his stuff. And the jinn did not know he was dead. Until Dabbatul Ard came and consumed ta'akulu min sa'atahu. And this has been translated and explained. And they nibbled like termites on the bottom of his staff. This is what you find in the tafsir. And when the staff lost its balance and collapsed, then the body of Sulaiman alayhi salam collapsed. And then the jinn got to know he was dead. But this is false. If you are the king, don't you have to eat? Huh? Will it not bring food for you to eat? Don't you have to go to the toilet? Huh? This is wrong. If you are dead and you're sitting on the throne, within a short period of time they would know you were dead. So it's not that Sulaiman alayhi salam died while sitting on the throne. No. Rather is that the jinn, everybody knew he was dead. Everybody knew he was buried. The jinn, because they are in another world of space and time and they are in chains, they did not know. And they're seeing someone sitting on the throne, holding on to the staff. And they thought it is Sulaiman. Because while holding on to the staff, he's able to deceive them. But this business of termites coming and nibbling at the bottom of the staff is false. I am not a scholar of the Arabic language, so when I confront a problem, I go to those who are scholars, particularly of the Arabic of the Quran. So I went to two scholars. One is a PhD in Arabic semantics, and the other is a PhD in the Quran, the Arabic of the Quran. Two of them. And I asked them, this is min sa'ah. The word for staff is sa'ah, with sod. And this is min sa'ah with seen. What is the meaning of min sa'ah? The dabbatul ad comes and they consume the min sa'ah. And both of them told me, min sa'ah is your walking stick. This is the highest caliber of scholarship in the language of the Quran. And they said to me, min sa'ah is just walking stick, stuff. No, I was not comfortable. It was not adding up. And finally, I realized that min sa'ah is not the walking stick or the staff. Min sa'ah is something located in the staff. It is a miraculous property within the staff. The staff of Musa alayhi salam had it. Throw the staff, it becomes a snake. Hit the rock with the staff and the water came out. Hit the sea and the sea parted. And the staff of Sulaiman alayhi salam is like that. That with this staff you can intervene in the system of time. And you can get images of Sulaiman who is dead. Images of Sulaiman can be presented walking and talking and moving while you're holding the staff. And the jinn were deceived. And they're still deceived up to now. And so, Dabbatul Ard is not termites coming to nibble. Dabbatul Ard is something which destroys. The word ta'akul means to eat, ta'akul, but here it means to consume. It's something which will destroy the inner miraculous quality of the stuff. So I'm not looking for some animal walking on four legs. No. This word of use of the word da'ba is here mutashabiha. And my understanding is we are facing it now. The dabba which is destroying the internal heart of the staff is the electromagnetic waves which are now inundating all the cities of the world. In consequence of which you now have this for your motor car, GPS, except for Siraj, everybody else uses GPS. Your wireless computer, the cell phone towers and the cell phone that you're using, you could check it out with your children. Check it out with your children. When a child is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years of age, that is the age when the memory is most powerful. At that age, the child can memorize the Quran. And I am coming tonight to tell you that the tomorrow is coming when no child who grows up in the city will ever be able to memorize the Quran. Because Dabbatul Ad, taklimuhum, is damaging the memory. The only child who will be able to memorize the whole Quran is the one who lives in a place where you can't use a cell phone. This is in my book, Dajjal, the Quran and the Jasad. I have not taken up the word Jasad. That book has not yet arrived in London. It should come soon. But all my other books I think we have at the back here. This one has my analysis of the Dabbatul Ard. It's called Dajjal, the Quran and the Jasad. So I have already taken a lot of time. I've dealt with the sun rising from the west. I've dealt with Dukhan. And I've dealt with Dabbatul Ard 3. You want me to continue?